It's July 2025. It's an extremely hot summer. You're boiling under the summer humidity. The temperatures are climbing and climbing and climbing. And one day you just check your phone, as you normally do, scrolling on your social media apps. And what do you see? Hayley Williams just dropped a new song. Now, the last you've heard from Hayley Williams, she was out there doing an R&B jam with Moses Sumney, and you were getting your entire life to it. But Hayley Williams decided to be the incredible human that she is, and she decided to drop a song for all of us at her local Nashville radio station. And that song was called Metazapine. And that one song started the trajectory of what we are now calling ego death at a bachelorette party. The last few months of Hayley Williams dropping music in her own little Hayley Williams way has really changed the music industry for the better, and it has also given more power to us, the fans. Hayley Williams put out one of the best projects of 2025, and truly, this project has changed my life for the better. Hayley's local Nashville public radio station, WNXP, received a CD of a song from Hayley Williams. And around this time, the government was on the attack of public radio, and it was on the attack of PBS, and it was on the attack of NPR. And Hayley wanted to fight in that fight against that, so she decided to drop her first song from an unknown group of songs that she would later put out on her website, and she wanted to drop it at her local Nashville public radio station to support her public radio. And it was the most incredible move ever. She didn't put it on streaming services. She didn't put it out on the internet yet. The only people who had a copy of that song was the radio station. And in turn, she did a service to both the Nashville public radio station, to National Public Radio in general, and to us fans, because you had to really be tapped in to figure out that Hayley had dropped the song. So Miss Williams drops Metazapine, a song about antidepressants, a song about medication for the mentally ill girlies, okay? For the medicated baddies, okay? And a lot of people related to that song heavy, because a lot of people either take that medication or they take a similar medication to help them with their mental health, to help them with things in that nature. And she was really showing out for the mental health homies. So that song got released. It was a banger. It was giving very much like a very like grungy, very 90s garbage kind of vibe to it. It was just really a good song. And that kicked the door open to a whole wave of music coming out that had no purpose, had no rhyme or reason at the time. It was just music that Hayley felt like she wanted to put out to the people because she had feelings and she wanted to get those feelings out. And so she decided to drop music, and she did it in the most perfect way. On July 28th, 2025, Hayley Williams would surprise the world with 17 tracks that she would release onto her website, HayleyWilliams.net. And the way that she did it was so perfect. So if you don't know, Hayley Williams actually is the co-owner of a hair dye company called Good Dye Young. And almost every year, Hayley Williams and her co-founder and best friend and hairdresser and makeup artist, Brian O'Connor, they drop a release from Good Dye Young. They drop a hair dye line, and it's gorgeous every time. And so Hayley decided that she wanted to wrap her release of these 17 tracks into her hair dye. So she decided to release this hair dye line with Brian O'Connor and called it Ego. And we didn't know anything about it except for that Ego was coming out, and if you bought the hair dye, you would get a code. And through that code, you would be able to do something really special. And so with that code, you go to her website and you are able to download and listen to those 17 tracks. And baby, did that deliver? That delivered. Now, not everybody bought Hayley's hair dye, but because of the sharing on the internet, which is something Hayley wanted in the first place, because of the sharing on the internet between Paramore fans, everybody was able to get a code. And so we all got codes. Even if you didn't end up buying the hair dye, people would sign up for Hayley and Good Die Young's newsletter, which in turn would get you the code as well. And you would be able to go on to her website and listen to the music. And it was a really grand experience because if you're a millennial, and Hayley Williams is, you would know that we really haven't felt that kind of energy and presence in music since the mid to late 2000s, when we were still using the .com, when we were still using the .net, when we were still using these kind of modes to download music onto our phones or our iPods or MP3 players, or even, mix CDs. And it's something that's missing in music today because we are so focused on streaming. And Hayley bringing that back in the music was just so beautiful because she brought the music back to the people. Nobody had to, pay for a streaming service to listen to the music. All you had to do was have a code. You go to the website, you type in the code, and there's 17 brand new Hayley Williams tracks for you to listen to. And when I tell you that those tracks were some of the best music that I listened to all year, I am not exaggerating, okay? Now, at the time, Hayley had only released 17 tracks. And so as far as we knew, there were only going to be 17 tracks. A little later though, Hayley Williams would unfortunately close down her website so people could not listen to the music anymore, which is something that happened to me, but we'll get into that. And so some people could not listen to the songs anymore, and they had to wait until the songs officially got released onto streaming services. Now, they would get released onto streaming services on August 1st, and at the time, they were not considered an album. We didn't think of them as an album, we just thought of them as 17 individual tracks. But what was really cool about Hayley was that Hayley said that she eventually wanted to put Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party, which is what the title of the album eventually became called. She wanted to put that out as an album. And so she took to the internet and she asked us lovely fans to help her sort out the album tracking. And so fans put in their submissions to help put the album tracking together for Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party. And Hayley took a lot of those submissions into account when she was putting together the track listing for the album.
Okay, so I've been in almost standstill traffic in Nashville for 30 minutes, maybe barely moving. But since I've got time, I just wanted to say I saw some people talking about how they would order these tracks, in a playlist. I've also seen a lot of complaints about the fact that it's not an album and it's just a bunch of singles. But the truth is, I didn't set out to make an album. I just needed to write. And I ended up with all these songs, and I have never really known what I think the full experience of all of it should be, as if it's one big body of work. I mean, it is a body of work, but I kind of just want to understand how you're experiencing it. I would like the perspective, because I don't know if I have much. So here's what we're gonna do. I feel like, I mean, we are gonna put this out physically. I think that physical media, now more than ever, is very important. But I think it would be more fun to me if some of you had a hand in helping us develop it. So send me a playlist, like make playlists with all the songs, how you would like to order them, how you would like to listen back, and maybe we can do something fun and I can like pick one of them, you know what I mean? Yeah, but send them anyway. I'll share them. I think it'd just be really fun for us to see how we're all, you know, enjoying it. So tag me, actually. I forgot to say that. Tag me, and I think that's how I will be able to look through them more easily. Because otherwise I don't know what streaming platform you're on. I don't know if you just are still listening to local files that you downloaded from the website originally. But yeah, make your playlist, tag me in it, and I'm just kind of pumped that we can have some fun with it. Also, Alfred, say hi. Oh, he doesn't care.
Which I also think is really beautiful, because Hayley right now is on a journey. So I want to backtrack just a tiny bit before we get any further. But if you don't know, you don't know. But when Hayley was younger, Hayley was unfortunately put into a very predatory situation. And Hayley is finally free of that situation. And she's able to put out music her way, finally. So if you don't know the story of Paramore, when Paramore first got started, Hayley was this young child, this young teenager, and she was just really into music, okay? And she just loved music. And when she moved to Franklin, Tennessee, she found friends who were just as much into this music as she was. And she found all of these cool bands from her friends, and so they decided they wanted to start their own band. And they were doing really well. And then different record labels came to the band to try to get them to sign. And one of the record labels that wanted Paramore to sign was Atlantic. Now, Atlantic was being very predatory, and they saw the rise of Avril Lavigne at the time, and they thought, well, we'll just sign Hayley, and Hayley can be our new Avril Lavigne, and Hayley will make us a bunch of money. And Hayley continued to tell them that, no, I am a girl who is in a band, who wants to be in a band. I do not want to be a solo artist. I want to be in a band. So Hayley fought for that. But unfortunately, Atlantic wanted to be sneaky, and they signed Hayley Williams to a music contract. And unfortunately, it ended up being just Hayley Williams on the signage and not the full band, which has been speculated against, has been speculated about for the last, 20 years. And it's sad because there's been so much tension and so much turmoil around that decision, and it's put Hayley into a lot of hard positions in her life. And she's talked about it countless times in various interviews about this decision and situation that she really had no control over, because predatory people at a record label took a young child, a young teenager, and tried to pit her against her own band and make her look like the bad guy, when in reality, it was just a bunch of people in suits trying to take control of a young girl's future that she didn't want. And it's sad.
I don't know. I think, the Avril thing made people see dollar signs. And I also think that's why I was sort of plucked out of it. And I kept trying to be like, no. And I pulled the guys in with me. But that was such a confusing time. I feel like it just happened so quick. It was like, found my people. We're writing songs that we love. We're doing these random shows. we're really too young to play shows. And then the next thing I know, I'm meeting L.A. Reid, Clive Davis, Jason Flom. I'm like, that guy, Bob Lefsetz, is writing about me. It was just a short 2 years of time, though, from getting there to like, oh my God, people want me to be a solo artist. I'm just now finding my space and my comfort playing this kind of music with my friends. And every meeting I would go into, I would just be like, I already write songs with my friends. And they'd be like, oh, well,
that's nice.
Maybe you should go try and write with some other people too, just to like hone your skills. And, I'm 15. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. I had a development deal with this guy that I guess is really famous for screwing bands over. And the reason that he caught my attention was that he said certain artist names that my 15-year-old brain was like, oh yeah, he's Failure, Self.
Wow.
Artists that we were really into as kids. And then the next thing I know, Paramore songs are being shipped off to labels as Hayley Williams. And it was so devastating for me as a kid to feel like I was somehow betraying my friends. I think I'm still processing it. And it took getting off the label and being done with that time in my life to be able to have the hindsight and to be able to have grace for myself for not knowing. And also to realize like I was so young, but I fought like hell for my friends and we ultimately won. I was a huge fan of what Zach was doing with his first solo project was called Half Noise. I really needed to write about a lot of things. The end of the contract happened and I could see it coming. We were finishing This Is Why, and it was like the light at the end of the tunnel. But strangely, as I got closer, it felt more daunting. And I think it's because there was so much I hadn't really ever processed about everything that we've just talked about and more. So it all really felt like it was going to come out whether or not I put it anywhere. It just was like I was going to puke everywhere.
And so Paramore put out their last record, This Is Why, back in 2023. And they toured for it, and they toured for it, and they toured for it. And then they were done touring, and both Hayley Williams and Zach Farrow both put out records this year, and they both did it independently. So Zach Farrow actually has his own record label because he actually has a solo side project band. He put out music this year, though, as his own self, like as a solo artist. And so he has both Half Noise, his solo side project band, as well as his own solo record that he put out this year. And Hayley as well has put out solo material in the past, but the difference is that Hayley's solo material like Petals for Armor or Flowers for Vases that came out in 2020 and 2021 respectively, they were both part of Atlantic because she was still signed. But Paramore's contract with Atlantic expired, and Hayley has talked about how that has been such a relief on her shoulder. And so when she decided to put out those 17 tracks on her website and then later put them on streaming services, she was thinking about it through the mindset of, I am now a fully independent artist who can do whatever she wants with her music. And that's why when she put out the music on her website, through a code that you type in and you're just able to get the music and share it and do all those types of things without having to have the pressure of streaming the music just in case you don't have maybe a streaming service or you can't pay for your streaming service that month or something like that. You are able to listen to the music basically for free. And that was such a beautiful thing because it really took the power back into Hayley's hands, but also into us, the fans' hands, you know? She was able to give us such a gift, and that was so beautiful. And I also feel like it was such a, not a risky move, but just a important, beautiful, and necessary move for her music to be put out into the world. So Hayley puts the music onto streaming services and everybody's listening to the music. Everybody's excited. Everybody's listening to the songs. But Hayley's not done. Hayley's not done. So Hayley decides to announce that, yes, I put out 17 tracks, but there's actually like 3 more tracks that are probably going to come out from this album. And yeah, I hope you check them out. So Hayley decides to put out 3 more tracks. Those 3 more tracks slap. And we eventually end up getting Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party, the album that comes out. And everybody is so excited about this record, okay? Everybody is talking about it. Everybody is listening to it. It's just so incredible. And it's really the highlight of 2025 in a lot of people's eyes, okay? So let's talk a little bit about how this album cycle for Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party helped to be one of the best years when it comes to me being a fan of Paramore / Hayley Williams, and how it, listen, I went viral this year, okay? I went viral this year because of one of Hayley Williams' songs. And it's a testimony to the fact that Hayley Williams just puts out incredible music with incredible lyrics. But it's also a testament to the fact that you just never know when you're going to go viral for something. And this is a side tangent, but I just want to say, put out your content, because you never know when you're going to go viral for what or how or when. I looked rough in this video, okay? I will tell you, I looked rough, and you can probably see it on screen right now, but I looked really rough in this video, okay? I was just, hanging out. So for those that don't know, this summer was helping my mom, who does a lot of work with the Patuxent Riverkeeper. If you don't know, a riverkeeper is basically someone who helps to protect rivers. There's water keepers who help protect other types of bodies of water as well. Some of them are lawyers. Some of them take legal action against these like polluters and such who are damaging our waterways. Some are just like, local advocates, but the Patuxent Riverkeeper in Maryland, he is the only Black riverkeeper in the entire United States. And so over the pandemic and over the last 5 years, my mom has been staying, and I have been also off and on, been staying at the Patuxent River, because there's a big old historic house there. And so my mom, and again, me sporadically, have been staying at the Patuxent River, helping with different programs and such at the Patuxent River. And so back in 2022, my mom and Fred, who is the Patuxent Riverkeeper, decided to start doing summer camps for youth at the Patuxent River. So they're like science-based. They're also outdoor skills based, and they're great. They're really, really great. And so I helped out at the 2022 Patuxent summer camp, but I then would end up going and starting to do more work. So I wasn't able to do 2023 or 2024, but with losing my job this year, it is what it is. It happens. I had time on my hands, so I was able to come and help with the Patuxent Riverkeeper summer camp this year. And so I was at the Patuxent River when this happened. I was on a break from the summer camp because we have week intervals in between, or a week or 2 intervals in between summer camps. And so, because you would have one each month, so June, July, and August, we would have one summer camp each month. So I was able to help with that this summer. I was doing, taking pictures for the summer camp and everything. And so I was helping with that. So on an off week where I did not have summer camp to do, I was just chilling, just resting, because the summer camps took a lot out of me. So I would just be resting during those times. And so I just noticed that Hayley Williams had dropped music, and I was like, oh, okay, let me get on this. And so I got the code. I was listening to the music. I got on a little late though. So she had dropped the music, right? But then I got on a tiny bit late, and then a couple days later, she would close the she would like close her website so that people could not get on and listen to the music anymore. And when she did that, I had only listened to like a couple tracks. So I was like panicking. I was like, I really want to listen to this music. So I got on my Twitters, and there was some lovely people on Twitter who decided to drop basically a zip file that they had downloaded all of the music from the website. And I was able to listen to the entire album, or the entire 17 tracks at that time. And I still have that zip file on my phone right now. And I am so blessed that the Paramore community is so beautiful like that. So I listened to the rest of the tracks and I was blown away. They are so good. And so there's this one track that Hayley dropped that I was specifically very like drawn to, and it was called True Believer. And True Believer is an incredibly important song that Hayley dropped this year. So if you haven't listened to Hayley's album, Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party, I suggest you go and listen to the album because it's incredible. But this specific song is one of the ones I think everybody should be listening to. And the song is basically about racial inequity. It's about the South. It's about taking on MAGA. And it's about basically, it interpolates in many ways Strange Fruit. And if you don't know about Strange Fruit and the whole history with that song, I actually have a video where I go more into depth about this song that I dropped on this channel. So you can go check that out. But basically that's kind of the premise of the song. And there's specific lyrics that Hayley puts in the song that are very, very powerful and very, very potent. And so I am just doing my normal listening of the song because it was one of the first times I'd heard the song. And I was just very much blown away by the song. And my facial expressions definitely show it. And the clip just goes mega viral. And this is before Hayley would drop the music on streaming services, because a lot of people didn't know about her dropping the 17 tracks on her website. And so they were just finding out about all this. And so they were like, Hayley dropped music? What is this? What is this? Oh my gosh. And even people who never listened to Hayley Williams, never listened to Paramore, weren't really into the music, but loved this song, and the lyrics that came from it was incredible. And to this day, to this very day, I am still getting likes, comments, and everything in between. My views on my video reacting to True Believer skyrocketed, okay? Skyrocketed. I will put on screen how many views, how many likes, whatever I have on the video on both Instagram and TikTok at this point, but it was incredible, okay? And it wasn't even just like people, like fans reacting to it, but it was also like SZA liked my video or reposted my video on her stories. Other artists were reposting my video. Like Instagram pages wanted to repost my video. I got asked to do a collaboration with a cool, really cool homie. His name is Tyler, and he has this media, I'm gonna say news/media conglomerate. It's called Common Revolt, and he basically talks about alternative news, alternative media, and I love his page. Shout out to you, Tyler, you're incredible. But he had reached out to me because he wanted to talk about True Believer, and he wanted somebody who was Black to talk about the song as well. And so I decided to do that. I also look rough in that video, but it's not about me, it's about the song, so hey. But he was able to put that out, and I was just, everybody was loving my video, like loving my video. Like I went the most viral I've ever went on the internet ever with that video. And I was just being really, really earnest in my video because it was just me and my facial expressions. Like, I was just literally listening to the lyrics and that's just how my face looked. And so it just went mega viral. And it just changed my life. It really, truly changed my life. Like, for real. It really changed my life. Then, in August, I decided to post a little video of me listening to Hard, which is a track off of Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party. And we'll get to some of my favorite songs off of Ego Death because she just put her foot in this album. I'm telling you now, she put her foot in this album. But Hard is definitely one of my faves, and I just decided that I just love the song so much that I just put a little cute video out there of it. And Hayley, who, girl, I be seeing you, girl, okay? You be lurking on the TikToks, you be lurking on the Twitters, and I see you, sis. How you doing? So if you ever see this video, I love you, Hayley. I love you so much, girl. Thank you for all the music and good times. But she was definitely lurking on the TikToks, and she decided to repost my video of me just jamming out to Hard on her stories. And I've never met Hayley Williams before, and what's funny is that I can't remember when I had this dream, but it was like a long time ago. But I had a dream of Miss Williams and me meeting up one day. It was at some college. Don't know why I was at some college, but it was at some college. I think it was in my town, so it was probably the college that's right up the street from me. And we were just hanging out, and we went to have lunch, and we were just chilling like we were best friends. And yeah, I don't know why I had that dream, but somehow I ended up having lunch with Hayley Williams in this dream, and it was the best experience of my life. And so her reposting my video, which wasn't even a good video, it was like not that great, but her seeing the earnestness of me just being a fan of her work and reposting me on her stories was so beautiful. And she's actually done that for me twice. So she actually put out another video that I had posted like last month of her. It was me just like dancing to the title track Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party and just like getting my life. And then I put on screen Album of the Year, which is totally true. It is my Album of the Year. And she reposted that too, and then she said something really sweet to me. She said, I love you and I love your videos. I love you and I love your videos. Miss Williams, I love you too, sis. I really do. You're so sweet. And I just got my life. I got my entire life, okay? After being a fan of Miss Williams and Paramore since I was 15 years old, baby, my life was made, okay? I am putting it out there in the universe that I will one day actually meet Miss Williams and give her a hug, just like in my dream. But baby, this is the next best thing, I guess, because she posted me and she said she loved me. She said she loved me in my videos. So, hey sis, I love you too, girl. But no, I do love Miss Williams, okay? I love you so much. But that's enough about me. Let's actually talk about Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party, and let's really go through the music and what this album really represents, because it represents a lot, and it's a good record. It's a really, really good record. So I'm just going to talk about some of my favorite songs from the record. And I implore you to please go listen to this record. It is so good. It is like hauntingly amazing. And if you have not listened to the full record, like you only listen to the singles out there, I need you to go listen to the full record because she really put her everything in this record and it's just so good. So I've already talked about how Hard is one of my favorite tracks off of the album. I just had a big affinity to it from the minute I first heard it. And I wasn't really sure why, but then I just think it's because Hayley does a lot of vocal tricks on this album where she manipulates her voice a lot, and she will do like some vocoding, like auto-tune type stuff on her voice, and it just sounds incredible. Like, I am obsessed. Okay, I love when artists who can really actually sing really well like to have fun with their voice, because you can tell they don't actually need the auto-tune or the vocoder or whatever, because they can actually sing really well. They're just doing it for the gimmick. And I love that about Hayley, because I think that's really beautiful. You know, I think that it's really beautiful that she's able to take her voice and do so many beautiful and amazing and fun things with it, right? And so I think that was one of the reasons I really liked Hard so much. Like, Hard is such a bop and a banger, and I just like that she takes vocal risks with that song. Ice in My OJ, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10, okay? And the way that she goes, I got ice in my OJ, I'm a cold hard bitch. Bunch of dumb motherfuckers that I made rich. Might go back to Mississippi. Hope that I don't take you with me, something like that. But I'm obsessed with that song as well. So good. Okay, I love that song. Okay, Love Me Different is really good. And there's this clip of Hayley performing Love Me Different where it's like her practicing the song, because she was doing it for a performance, and she was practicing the song, and her theater kid came out. You could hear it in her voice. Her theater kid came out, and it was so gorgeous, so beautiful. I just, such a good song. Such a good song. Good Old Days. Okay, Good Old Days is really, really good. I love it because it gives me SZA vibes. And if you know anything about Hayley Williams and SZA, they're really, really cool. And Hayley Williams has been trying to get SZA to perform. She's been trying to get SZA to make a song with her. And they've been trying to get in the studio for a long, long time. And just hasn't happened. And they're both really busy people. Hayley was on tour with Paramore. SZA was on tour and putting out music. And now she's on tour again with Kendrick, or was on tour with Kendrick. And they're just busy people. They're just really busy people. And so I guess Hayley said, girl, if you ain't gonna get on a song with me, I'm gonna make the song myself. And she put out Good Old Days, which is a alt R&B bop. Okay, it's a bop. Because I love R&B. I'm an R&B head. I also love alternative music. Put it together and baby, what do we have? A classic. And I love it. There's this video of me dancing to the song and me talking about how it's SZA coded, and that got a lot of views too, so shout out to that. But yeah, I absolutely love that song sonically, because I love the way that she interpolates a lot of R&B tropes, but also does a lot with, okay, so Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party is about a lot of different things. It's about her Nashville, it's about her local Nashville area where it's being gentrified, where it's being taken for granted. And a lot of racist people, a lot of country people, a lot of, you know, the Morgan Wallens of the world, if you know, you know, have taken over Nashville. And if you don't know, actually a data center is being put near Nashville. It's not in Nashville, but it's in Tennessee. And a data center is being put, if you don't know what a data center is, it's basically what they use to create AI, and it's going to disproportionately harm many Black and brown communities, and it's going to take the fresh water, and it's just bad for the environment, environmental racism, the whole 9 yards. And so that's happening in Tennessee. You know, lots of different things are going on, and Hayley Williams is seeing all of it, okay? Both from a racial standpoint, but also from, she used to go to a lot of hardcore shows out in Nashville and Franklin and all these places. And, now there's not that many music venues out there, and it's turning into country MAGA USA. And it's really sad, and it's actually embarrassing. And she talked a lot about that on Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party, as well as True Believer. Those songs are really about how Tennessee and the South in general has become this place that she basically admits to always being that way, right? But there's pockets where people have come and tried to change those areas into a better place. But because, politics and all of these things, people have tried to come back and reclaim these places, and they're making a bad name for places like Nashville and other places. And it's sad, right? And so she puts a lot of that into the music as well. But this is also an album about relationships. Now, if you didn't know, or you don't know the history of Hayley Williams, let me school you on this a little bit. So Hayley Williams started dating her bandmate Josh Farrow back in 2007, and that ended really poorly. She might have been dating him a little earlier than that, but pretty much during Riot era, she was dating Josh Farrow. That ended really badly. We hate Josh Farrow. Josh Farrow can suck it. And then after she would get out of that relationship, and if you didn't know, she actually wrote Misery Business about Josh Farrow. Yeah. Anyways, after that, she would get into a relationship with her most recent, outside of the one we're going to talk about, most recent relationship, which was Chad Gilbert, okay? And he was from the band New Found Glory. And we hate him too. He sucks. But they would date for a really, really long time. And there's a lot of things that go into that relationship that I'm not going to talk about here. But pretty much that relationship crashes and burns. I mean, they do get married, but then they ultimately get divorced. And just a lot of stuff happens with that relationship, okay? So that happens. But then there's this guy. His name is Taylor York. He's incredible. Taylor York, I love you so much. Thank you for always being the savior of Paramore. Without you, Paramore would not be a band anymore, and I just love you for it. And if you don't know the history around that, I'll give you the TLDR, but basically, Paramore almost broke up several times, and there was a breaking point where Hayley did not really want to be in the band anymore, and Taylor was okay with that because at a point, it was just Taylor and Hayley as the sole members of Paramore. And Hayley was like, I don't know if I really want to do Paramore anymore because every time I try, all this chaos happens. And so she was like, I don't know if I want to do it anymore. But then Zach Farrow, the lovely man that he is, comes a knocking and says, I want to rejoin Paramore. And so Taylor gets to talking with Zach, gets him to rejoin Paramore. Taylor gets Zach to come and talk to Hayley. They kind of squash all their beef and differences. Paramore comes together. They make After Laughter. Everything is cool. Everything is great. But everything is not cool and everything is not great. Because Hayley's still very depressed and very heartbroken around her last relationship with Chad Gilbert. And also going through some things because she's realizing that divorce really runs in her family because she grew up with her parents being divorced and her dad being this horrible guy who terrorized her and her mom to the point where her and her mom had to leave Mississippi to go to Tennessee. And so that's the whole thing. And so Hayley's going through all of this stuff. But at the time, Taylor's right there, right? Taylor's right there. And in this album, we learn a lot about Taylor and Hayley's relationship around the time that After Laughter was being put out. Specifically in the song Good Old Days, we learned that around the time of After Laughter, Hayley and Taylor were in a secret relationship. And so Hayley and Taylor were in this secret relationship. They were, flirting back and forth. They were meeting each other in secret hotel rooms during tour. Like, a lot of stuff was going on. And so Hayley and Taylor would not make their relationship fully public until last year. And us Paramore fans who have been paying attention to this band for years already saw this coming, and we knew this would come eventually one day. But when it happened, we were over the moon, because we always thought that Taylor and Hayley were just so cute and so perfect for each other that why not? And so it was really, really fun to watch those two be together and be happy, right? And then Hayley drops Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party, and it breaks all of our hearts. Now, Hayley really goes and dives deep into the relationship of her and Taylor on this record, okay? And it sucks because originally when this album or this 17 tracks gets released, a lot of people on the internet, specifically Paramore fans, they're just trying to not believe that any of these songs are about her and Taylor breaking up. A lot of people want to believe that these are songs about Chad Gilbert and these are just old and she just wanted to release them just because she wanted to be done with that chapter of her life and all of those things. And then she drops Parachute. And Parachute is arguably one of the most open songs on the entire record. It really opens up about how Hayley and Taylor are fully broken up and how Taylor should have basically saved Hayley from her terrible marriage, and he didn't do that. And now he wants to close up and clam up and not want to be with her, even though she's ready and willing and able to be with him. And she doesn't understand why, and she just wants a relationship with him, but she knows that he won't give it to her. And so where do we go from here? And that was the song that really cemented our belief that Hayley and Taylor are no more. And it was actually really sad because I love Hayley and Taylor together. They were so cute. But nothing lasts forever, so what can you say? But yes, so one part of this record is about, you know, the societal things going on in the world at this time, both in politics, racially, you know, things going on in Nashville, you know, that whole thing. And the other part, and the most of the album is about, is her and Taylor's relationship and all of the things that Taylor has done. And Taylor has done a lot, apparently. And what I'm getting from the record is that Taylor is one of those people who is struggling with his mental health and is unable to really fully commit to Hayley, even though Hayley put her all into this relationship. Because Hayley is a person that she has seen firsthand from her parents, as well as her previous marriage, that love doesn't last. And why put faith into love? And why do all of these things? And then she finally gets into a relationship with Taylor, the person she thinks is going to be her knight in shining armor, the person that she thinks she can really put love into and actually take down her armor and really be vulnerable with. And he ends up disappointing her. And she's like, what's the point? What's the point? But what I do love about Hayley in this record is that she never disparages Taylor. Like, she never goes out and says, I want terrible things for you. I want you to just suffer. Like, she does say that in certain ways, but in other ways, she knows that Taylor is going through things and that she would be a bad person if she just outright said, you know, you're terrible. I hate you. I want horrible things for you. She knows that he's going through what he's going through, and she wishes him the best. And if one day they align again, she would love that. And if not, oh well. But one of my favorite lyrics from Good Old Days is about Stevie Nicks. And if you know anything about Fleetwood Mac, you know that Paramore has always been very much, Paramore has always been seen as like the pop punk version of Fleetwood Mac, with all of the band lineup changes and the relationship dramas and all of that. It's always been seen that way. So when she calls out Stevie Nicks in Good Old Days, iconic. I love it. But yeah, Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party is my favorite record of 2025. Is such an incredible record, and I just want to talk a little bit for a second about the impact of this record. Like I said, the impact of Hayley dropping those 17 tracks on her website, giving people a code to go and listen to the music, be able to download the music and share it with their friends, is an incredible, amazing move to do, especially when you first are going independent and you don't have a big team behind you. You doing that and knowing you have the star power to be able to do that is an incredible, important move that I think will have ripple effects in the music industry for years and years to come. And I think that might take us back to a more music-centered, a more fan-centered, and a more community-centered lens when it comes to music. And I think that's beautiful. And I also think that the themes that Hayley talks about on this record, when it comes to more of the societal things that she talks about on the record, are really important too, because as we know, there are certain artists who have dropped music this year, and some of them are or were friends with Hayley, and their album is being tossed around and talked about in a negative light around certain things around race, certain things around MAGA, certain things around the alt-right pipeline. And there have been things that have happened in the last, few months, and this person has not spoken up on anything that's been going on and hasn't talked about anything. Whereas Hayley Williams literally went on to the Jimmy Fallon show and she performed True Believer with an all black / POC singers, instrumentalist, violinist and such. And she performed True Believer. She even at the end of the performance put the song Strange Fruit in there because that's what ultimately inspired True Believer as a song. And also, she on her piano, because she played the piano, she's also looking very Kurt Cobain these days. Love that for her. She also had a sign on the piano that said Mississippi Goddamn, which if you don't know the history of that either, it's a Nina Simone song. Just look it up. You'll figure it out. But just all of that, she's putting so much power into that performance, so much power into that song that directly calls out MAGA, that directly calls out the alt-right, that directly talks about racial issues. And that to me is what artists are supposed to be doing in 2025, in 2026. These are unprecedented times, okay? Even though we've seen these things happen in the past, and so we do have blueprints of ways we can use our voices to collectively call against these things, these are also unprecedented times because we are using the internet this time, which is the first time that a lot of these things have happened under the internet. And so Hayley using her voice in this way, incredible. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 for you, Miss Williams, okay? You get all of the praise from me in the world because you didn't have to do that. You could have just put out the music about your relationship with Taylor and how that's gone and all of those types of things and just put out a really good, solid record that way. But you decided to take it a step further and really call out the racist out here in the world. I mean, there's interviews of you talking about how much you hate Morgan Wallen, which valid, okay? Also, I learned that a lot of people didn't know that Morgan Wallen came from The Voice. And the only reason I know that is because I would watch The Voice with my mom when it was on, like during the first few seasons of it being on the air. And I would watch it with my mom because we'd be bored sometimes. We would just watch it. And I remember Morgan Wallen specifically being on The Voice. Yeah. Anyways, she calling out Morgan Wallen, and then Morgan Wallen's fans trying to come at her and act like Hayley Williams is irrelevant. Who's listening to Hayley Williams? Who is Hayley Williams? Miss me with the BS. But Hayley Williams is the most incredible human being on the planet. I love her so much. I can't praise her enough. I feel like every time I make these videos about Hayley Williams, I'm just praising her and showering her with love, but I can't help it. Every single time, like, she has not slipped up yet. And it's been such a beautiful, 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 beautiful ride with her and Paramore and just the whole 9 yards. And I forever and ever and always will be so happy with my 15-year-old self for listening to Crush, 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 watching that music video for the very first time, and fully putting my whole self into this band and into Hayley Williams. I will forever be grateful for that. And there's a couple of things I want to talk about real quick before I go. But side note, Hayley's grandfather, her grandpa, which is so cute, Hayley's grandpa, he had put out music back in like the 70s or the early 80s. And he had a whole unreleased record of music that just never got put out. And so Hayley decided to go work with her bandmate Zach Farrow, who has his own record label, and decided to help put out her grandpa's music. It's so cute. The album is so good. And Hayley, you're a gem. You're a gem to do that for your grandpa like that. That's so sweet. That's so cute, girl. That's so cute. So you should go listen to the record. Also, Hayley has been nominated for like a stack of Grammys, which shout out to her. Even though I'm not a big award show person, I actually hate award shows. They are at least a little bit putting the right people into the right categories for the right music. So shout out to that. 10 out of 10 for Miss Williams. And also, I have to put this in here, even though it was a very negative experience, but it is what it is. It's life. Miss Williams put out her album, and it's incredible. So everybody was listening to this record. Everybody. Okay? From the most casual Paramore fans to just people who know Hayley Williams to hardcore Paramore fans to people who are hardcore Paramore fans, also listen to Hayley Williams solo music that came out in 2020 and 2021, like, are in it deep. Everybody listening to this music this year, okay? And because of that, Miss Williams decided that she should go on tour for this record. And as an artist does, she decided to put out a code so that us fans could have a better chance at getting tickets to her show. Unfortunately though, and this is not Hayley Williams' fault, so we're not calling out Miss Williams. Love you down, Hayley. This is not your fault. I know this. But I am annoyed because Hayley Williams decided to do smaller venues for this record because she is an independent artist, and now she wants to do smaller venues, which makes sense because in 2020, Hayley Williams decided to go on tour back then, and she wanted to tour for her album Pedals to Armor. And your girl got tickets for that. Shout out to me. But guess what? It's peak COVID. So obviously Hayley could not go on tour. And so we got refunded for the tickets, and that was that. Now Hayley Williams is going on tour for Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party, which means that she's going to, and she said that she's going to be performing the entire record on that tour. So that's cool. But Hayley put out her code for the tour. So everybody sign up for her newsletter. You get a code. You would type it in, when you would go to order tickets. But unfortunately, Hayley Williams is doing these smaller venues. So, because she's doing the smaller venues, so many people are in love with this band, in love with Hayley Williams. So they all went to go get tickets. Because of that, using Ticketmaster, many fans did not get tickets. Me included. Puppy dog, sad eyes, sad face. I was looking forward to seeing Hayley Williams live because I did not get to see her live during 2020 when the Petals from Armor tour got canceled. So I was PO'd that I could not go see my girl this time around, right? And it really annoyed me because, one, there were different fans on the internet who were bragging about how they got these tour tickets to different cities, when literally there were so many fans who couldn't even get tour tickets at all. Two, and probably most importantly, but two, Ticketmaster sucks, like actually sucks, and I really wish that Hayley Williams had not gone through Ticketmaster. I know it's the monopoly and I get it, and I know that most of these artists are going to go through Ticketmaster. It just is what it is, but I hate Ticketmaster and I want them to die. They are ruining the economy and they are ruining the ticket buying experience for concerts and shows. Hate them down. Also, it was just that the venues were really small, so the amount of people who wanted to get tickets versus the size of these venues didn't really match. And that's not on you, Hayley. I'm not saying that's on you. It just, yeah, the balance was not there, right? And so unfortunately, I'm going to be watching people go to these shows and crying my eyes out because I didn't get to go. But you live, you learn. It is what it is. I will see Hayley as a solo artist one day. I am just very grateful that I actually got to see Paramore back in 2023. Dream come true. I had been a fan since I was 15, 2007, and I had never seen Paramore live. So getting to see them live in 2023 was a dream come true. So at least I got to see them once. And if I never see them again, at least I got to see them once. That's more than even some people. So I'm grateful for that. But I do wish I could have gone to this tour. It is what it is. But anyways, yeah, so that happened as well, which is a bummer, but it is what it is. And yeah, this album cycle has just been so incredible, truly. There are now, as of the time of recording this, 20 tracks on the album of Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party. You can stream the album, you can buy the album. If you're like me, you still have the 17 tracks on your phone. You downloaded from the zip file that a fan on Twitter graciously gave you, like the kind person that they are, and you should listen to the album that way. There's many ways you can listen to this record, but it's incredible, and I'm obsessed with it, and I absolutely adore everything about this record, everything about this rollout, everything about Hayley Williams, and I'm just proud of Hayley Williams for everything. Being an independent artist now, not having to deal with stupid record label politics, finally being able to tell her truth for once, like really feeling like she has the power in her music and really feeling like she has the power in the way that she distributes her music and how she interacts with her music and how she interacts with her fans. Like, there's just so much, and I absolutely adore it, and I love her for it. And no matter where Paramore or Hayley Williams or anything goes next, I will be there to check it out every single time. As I've said countless times, and I'll say it one more time, Paramore and Hayley Williams as a solo artist have done so much for me in my life. And I be going through some of the worst when it comes to me mental health. And Hayley Williams, Paramore, they're just there every time to give me the sage words of wisdom in their music. And I just love them for it, okay? I absolutely adore them for it. So shout out to Hayley Williams. Thank you so much for Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party. I hope you have an incredible tour. I hope you win all the Grammys. And I just hope you're having an incredible time with this record. And I hope you're just enjoying all the love that you're receiving because you totally deserve it. I love you, Hayley. This was just a video about Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party, the album that Hayley Williams dropped this year. And it's probably all over the place like most of my videos are, but hey, that's just me. So if you would like to check out any more Hayley Williams or Paramore videos that I have made, you can check out the little card right here. And yeah, thank you so much, Hayley, for the music. I love you. Until the next Hayley Williams video, peace.
But I'm always talking about Morgan Wallen. I don't give a shit. Find me at Whole Foods, bitch. I don't care.